And welcome back to European LCS, where the second game between Origen and Giants is about to begin. But, ladies and gentlemen, before we get to picks and bans, Vedius, we need to look forward. We need to look at what Origen are fighting for. Origen, they need wins. They're struggling to find wins. They're desperate to get out of 5th place because on the horizon, Origen find themselves with 1 foot inside the Schalke tank. That's right, Schalke play Misfits Academy next Sunday in the EUCS semifinals. And if Schalke take down Misfits Academy, they are the most likely team to beat a number 5 LCS squad.
Schalke have looked dominant, going undefeated. The first team to go undefeated in the European Challenger Series. And they are keeping their eyes on this series in particular. They're looking at who their targets will be moving forward into the promotion tournament.
The man on your screen, Xpeke, and the Origen squad, will they be inside the Schalke tank in promotion tournament? Those are questions that we will be answering in the next few weeks. Origen are down 0-1 against Giants. They got outclassed, right, by a Giant squad. They have selected blue side for game number 2. So, Vedius, what do you anticipate in picks and bans?
Well, we talked about how we want to just see pushing lanes for Origen. We want to have safe stuff with which it doesn't matter if they get outclassed because they can still scale up, they can still hold their own. Wave clear is the name of the game for Origen, and that's what I like to see them shift more towards.
All right, wave clear, name of the game. Pushing lanes was something you mentioned earlier as well. So let's take a look what Origen can do. Ryzen Zyra has been banned out from Origen's side. Giants, they've removed LeBlanc. Looking at the previous games, Gragas, Shen, Lulu, those were all options as well. Varus. So again, nothing super surprising here.
Interesting that we've actually seen the Zyra ban coming out from Origen now. This is something that Hustlin has put a lot of value on in the past, but the fact that they would look to try and take it off the board is quite interesting, simply because we didn't really see any focus on it in the previous game. There was no real direction towards that from the side of Origen. And it didn't really look like Giants wanted to prioritize it either. It will leave champions like the Jaces available. And last game we saw a Malzahar ban as well. Lulu was actually taken off the board from Giants, taken away from Peke. And it's not really a surprise that Giants are looking to ban away the Malzahar once again, simply because it is such a powerful pick, but it will also free up Sartorius' power pick.
Yeah, there we go. Insta-lock on that Gragas. No hesitation from Origen, but this does give Flaxish the opportunity to look for a counter, look for something to run into that in the top lane. And looking through Flaxish's champions, he's got a few carries in there as well. Has played the Kennen. Hell, he's even played a Rumble a couple weeks back. Riven, rather, a couple weeks back. Not the greatest success on that one, though. Where did Giants go in their first rotation?
I want to guess Shen, maybe.
Okay, well spotted, well spotted.
I feel like if you're Giants here, you could look to get an early value on either jungle and AD carry. We've seen that neither of these teams really put a huge amount of value on Jhin. He was banned away in the second half of the draft from Origen. Now, Giants could look to get that now. They could get themselves the Graves, but there are a number of junglers available. I wonder if Memento maybe wants to get his hands on the Elise. Maybe they want to go for an early jungle path. Maybe just stick to what works.
Yeah, I mean, the Graves in the previous game was so successful for Giants, and with the Shen locked in, if Giants have a similar sort of mid to late game, have a similar sort of strategy / macro style of play, Shen is going to help them out so much. Anytime they even potentially make a mistake, could come to their safety. Wisdom going to move away from Elise this time around, locking in the Lee Sin. Going to try to carry as best he can. That's the first time he's playing Lee Sin this split in EULCS.
Now, Wisdom, I remember back to the Challenger Series when he used to play for Misfits. He wasn't really known for these early aggressive junglers. Champions like Rek'Sai and Gragas were more his style, but when he needed to be that guy that can set up his laners for success, he would shift back to these early style junglers like the Elise, where he actually had a lot of success. So now in game 1, he didn't quite have that level of success, but now he's trying once again. He still feels confident enough that he can match the early pressure that Memento has exerted in not only game 1, but also in previous series. And perhaps it's what Origen lead, but it's difficult to say because I feel like we talked a lot about it in Game 1 where Giants at the moment are just straight up outclassing Origen on an individual level. Will Wisdom really be able to get that early advantage given that he struggled to do so in Game 1?
Yeah, and I mean, that's also, you know, sort of thinking and feeling that Game 1 performance maybe dictates the rest of the series. There's big smiles here on the Origen faces with the Cogmore ban from Giants.
Now, the reason for that is because recently in solo queue, a big duo is actually been Cogmore and Lulu. Remember back to the old Protect the Cogmore days, where when you have someone like a Gragas, you're also setting up for that direction where you put all your emphasis on getting this Cogmore fed, and it is actually something that Tabs has brought out in the past. So they wanted to make sure that he didn't get his hands on it. Giants doing their research and being aware of, no, we're not letting you have that today.
Yeah, old school style, Protect the Cog comp. Two old school players, Tabs and Peke, been around for many, many years, and another bottom lane ban removed from the pool, Karma. Interesting seeing the Nautilus ban that is targeted towards Huslin. Huslin's actual second most played champion was that Nautilus support. And that means he's going to need to look somewhere else to combo with Hiku's gen.
Now, I actually quite like Nami into Lulu because the reasons why Lulu's able to get a push in lane is because of how aggressively she can trade. During the laning phase, she can actually just walk up, put a shield on top of herself, and use picks to often outtrade a lot of the enemy supports and just exert a lot of pressure. But when you have Nami, who is also pretty potent at early game trading, the actual wave clear isn't that significant. The big determining factor is actually going to be the Ziggs that will really be able to push a lot. But again, aggressive bottom lane with the Nami Jhin, they should be able to trade very effectively during the early levels.
Okay, well, keep an eye on how that works out. Knight and a number of options available to him. Syndra was up and open and decides to go for the Ahri, an aggressive pick here for Knight. And maybe going to go to these assassins that he's been picking up a little bit more frequently in recent weeks. Knight starting to regain some of the impact, high impact style of play that he had last year that made him look so good in the 2016 season.
Something that I noticed last week was that Memento seemed to be playing a little bit more towards Knight when he was playing these assassin champions. When Knight was on this Ahri, a lot of emphasis came out from Memento onto making sure that Knight was getting ahead, that he was having a comfortable laning phase. And Ahri, during the early stage, often does struggle because her wave clear isn't the strongest. She's actually very mana dependent. But once she gets that lost chapter, it's a very similar story to the Ziggs, where she can have a lot more pressure during the laning phase.
When I'm looking at these team compositions, Vedius, and there was a couple things that Analyst Desk and you mentioned about looking forward towards draft and looking to these team comps. Pushing lanes, simpler team comp to execute, slightly easier style. I mean, Jace mid lane, Ziggs, Lulu bottom lane, tanky front line on a comfort pick for Sartorius and Gragas. Like, in my mind, Origen have done in the draft what we were looking for.
They have. You have the great wave clear with the Gragas. Jace is absolutely fine into the Ahri in terms of the ability to push early on. Ziggs Lulu, very well known for being a potent pushing lane. And so while very early on, Giants may be able to claw a few advantages given that Shen trades pretty well and Jhin Nami is pretty powerful, Origen have done very much of what we wanted to see from them. And their ability, they shouldn't fall behind too much in the early game as well, because you have Wisdom on this Elise, who should win out on a lot of these early skirmishes that Origen, if they choose to, can set up for.
Yeah, if they choose to. Origen didn't choose to set up many skirmishes in game number 1. They are 0-1 down in the series against Giants as we load up onto the Rift for what could be the last time here in Week 7, here in cross-group play, here in Berlin, Germany. Let's do a flyby of the Rift and see Giants grouping up just in front of Wisdom. I don't anticipate Wisdom walking forward, though.
The reason why you do this for Giants is because recently you've been seeing a lot more teams try and dissuade junglers from starting at these Raptors, right? So if you get that early ward in, you can actually, you can better set up for where the enemy jungler is, where they're starting. And so if you're Origen, you want to see if Memento is soloing those Raptors so that you can try and interrupt, try and deny him some of that farm. And by having the entire Giants group there, you're preparing, you're setting up to punish the early invade from Origen as they try and get that vision down.
Yeah, it didn't work out. And of course, in the previous game, it was Giants that was trying to harass Origen in the Raptor camp. We've now swapped sides. Origen on the blue side with some advanced pushing. Looking at Tabs and Peke, cheekily advanced all the way up in lane. And we'll see what sort of damage they can get down to Hiku and Hustlin.
Look at the positioning of Knight. He's reading the play, this ward
Yep.
from Giants. They're expecting OG to try and interrupt these Raptors. And if OG can just steal away some of this experience, it'll actually be very valuable for Origen. But now you actually get this collapse down onto Sartorius.
All right, Flexish going to continue to chase forward. Body slam from Sartorius, so that means he started at the E. Maybe that could make the early levels a little annoying, but this isn't going to be the most explosive of top lane matchups for now. Gragas and Shen.
What are you talking about? He has an ability literally called the Exploding Barrel.
Explosive cask.
Flask, barrel.
And it will be a while before he can use that one.
That's true.
So I'm gonna go on the matter of time before Gragas has access to his level 6. Down in the bottom lane, Hiku and Hustlin going to be going toe-to-toe with Tabs and Peke. So you've touched on some of the line matchup with the Lulu and the Nami in picks and bans. Tabs gets a very good satchel charge. Hiku's going low, forced backwards and fires his 4th and final bullet. But he's got boots as well as 3 cookies, and he's got a Nami to heal him up. So Hiku should be just fine.
Yep, he's built purely for sustain. He knows that the harass from these two in particular is very strong. The sustain from Nami will help out a lot, but you just have to concede the lane. You have to realize that even if you can trade pretty effectively early on, you will not be able to match this push. You do not have that same level of wave clear. So just build towards getting through it as safely as possible. So bot lane will push, mid lane will push, because it is very difficult for Ari to trade with anyone early on unless the enemy mid laner walks into a charm. But Ari really doesn't have a huge amount of damage. The biggest issue that she has is that her mana costs are so high. It costs about 60 mana at level 1 to use her Q, and she only has 330 mana in her pull, which means she only gets about 5 Qs off, and that'll only clear a minion wave and a half, which really isn't ideal, which is where a lot of the early struggles come from, which is why the Lost Chapter is such a valuable item on it.
Okay, so first back timing and itemization for Knight. That's what we're looking forward. You mentioned jungle proximity for Knight and Memento, and how, you know, it feels like Memento might be spending a little bit more time with him. In game 1, Knight's jungle proximity was actually very low in the mid lane. It was 11.2%. versus the league average of 17%. And that is the amount of time that Memento spends within 1500 range of Knight, between 3 and 15 minutes. So Knight had a great performance on Jace without support, is the summary of that story. Very good showing.
Somewhat what you'd expect from Knight, given that his impact on the game wasn't really what we were looking at. It was the Ziggs bottom lane from Giants, where all of the focus really was, and because they were able to have such an impact in the bottom lane, they were able to get that first tower bot, they were able to transition that throughout the rest of the map, and that's really where things started to snowball in favor of Giants. And Origen could look to do the same thing. Now the question is, can Memento prevent this snowball coming out from the bottom lane?
Okay, looking at bottom lane, where does the snowball start? Xpeke is able to sidestep the flourish, so nothing becomes deadly. There was a ward in the river that Wisdom actually just put another one on top of. One of the other reasons Giants had such a good game 1, their vision control, their vision superiority. And that ward that Wisdom just dashed to was right on top of a Giants ward that revealed him going into the jungle. So Giants had full information Wisdom was there, could react appropriately, could react safely, and were not at risk of being jumped on.
Yep, one of the things that we did praise Memento for was his ability to track Wisdom throughout the map, prevented a lot of the early ganks that he tried to set up for. And you can see him right now setting up towards the bottom half of the map. Infernal Dragon is on the board. Will be a nice early objective to get your hands on. But this is also a movement from Memento because he realizes that the Raptors are spawning again, and he wants to deny this experience from Wisdom. And it's interesting, actually, that right now Nakyun is struggling whether or not he wants to move in to try and help his jungler, and it looks like he is going to come and get the collapse.
Trying to steal away those Raptor camps. Here comes Hiku and Hustlin. Aqua Prison needs to be good, not going to get thrown. Hustlin doesn't need it. Memento's just able to quick draw over the wall.
But they will save the Raptor camps, or at least most part of it, so Wisdom won't lose too much in terms of experience. And we actually see Knight making a bit of a cheeky movement, just getting a bit of vision down.
The sight of a control ward, obviously.
Feels bad, man. Yeah,
it really does. But not the end of the world. Giants will be able to just replace that ward in the not too distant time frame. But yet, you know, to talk about that previous game, Origen had a team comp that Giants had a team comp that needed to scale a little bit. They needed to buy some time, needed to survive the early game. and Origen's Renekton at least didn't do anything. So to like sort of clarify that, from 20 minutes until the end of the game, Giants took 10 towers. Like that really clarifies how they just neutralized and evened out the game.
Yep.
And then just knocked everything over like dominoes once their composition was activated.
Yep. It's the power of Ziggs, man. And this time, Giants have actually shifted more towards a 1-3-1 comp, right? So you can have the Shen go off into a side lane, and often you'll hear people say like Shen outscales the tanks in terms of side lane, and that's because of his power to duel, his ability to win out in 1 versus 1 scenarios once you get to that split pushing point. And Ahri is very strong in a 1 versus 1 scenario, especially against a Jace that actually is running Ignite, which I think is a little bit greedy against especially Ahri being played on by Knight. So moving into the late stages, Giants, if they're able to get an even slight advantage, it's going to be difficult for Origen to be able to deal with both the side lane pressure that will be coming out from Giants. The advantage for Origen is that if Giants don't manage their waves properly, Tabs will just walk up, take your tower, and leave.
Yeah. And that's what Tabs wants to do. He's got that Lost Chapter, so he's going to be able to push. Lost Chapter picked up for Knight as well. It's here for Nahyun, and Nahyun with that Flash Ignite, maybe a little greedy, maybe a little aggressive, but he is in a 3-game losing streak and wants to try and cut that one short before it gets to any other records. And Wisdom's going to use that Dragon's Rage kick to buy some time. First Blood easily picked up by Knight. Flaxish's stand united just gets the assist and punishing Wisdom for vision.
Wisdom, he wanted to try and steal away the Raptor camps. A very similar play to what Memento did. But when Memento did it, he was able to get away because his bottom lane came up to provide support, and Knight was in a position to support him. But this time, Nahyun was being pushed underneath by Knight, given that he now has the Lost Chapter.
Oof. A lot of damage from Tabs and Peke. They're onto Hiku's Jhin, despite being caught out by a deadly flourish and a bubble. But yeah, just...
But look at the minimap. You can see that Knight gets the inside path. It's Shen who, again, has the inside path and is level 6 and has the ultimate up as well. It was just... This is a misplay from Wisdom. He shouldn't have been trying to invade when you do not have the adequate support in order to make that kind of a play.
Yeah, it was going to be a 3-on-2 best case scenario even without the Shen, without a teleport, and Origen just give up first blood much earlier. Game 1 was around 21-ish minutes. The game ended at 28 minutes. So, you know, 20 minutes of going even for Giants and then just straight up outplaying Origen. And this is where things start to feel dire. After that game, after giving up first blood, 10 minutes in, and Giants, again, starting off in a very similar manner. With a team comp that's going to be very comfortable once we get to this mid-game.
I think the big thing is the fact that Knight got himself the kill. That's really going to propel him above Nahyun, which just better sets up for the split push. And now he's in an unwarded bush.
Take a look at that. Orbit Deception onto Nahyun. Spur Rush will be available very soon. Hiku gets tagged out, gets a kill onto Wisdom. Giants get the Dragon as well. And Origen, just not on the same page.
It just comes back to setup once again. Origen think that, hey, we're fine to get this Dragon. Giants won't be able to punish us. Origen were even in a good position because Memento had just gone back to base. Their jungle wasn't even there. The threat of a smite was not relevant, but it wasn't the entire Origen lineup that was committing to that Dragon. It was not Origen as a team saying, let us all together take this objective as friends and then secure this advantage over Giants. And then because they're all rolling solo, because they're all on individual, they just get an easy collapse. Like, look at the positioning. This ward and this TP is zoning the bottom lane from Origen. Nahyun is getting zoned from Tabs. Wisdom is in a 1v1 against the Dragon. And then with Hiku, he has enough damage to be able to get the kill down onto him. Combined with Flaxish, it's just, again, it's the setup from Origen.
And near instantaneous teleport from Flaxish. Threat, there's a problem. Sartorius, either hesitation or the communication, whatever the reasoning, we can't be sure, but did not start that teleport. And we'll continue that in a second as Wisdom and Memento could start to fight. Looking at the minimap, there's some support from Knight in the river. It was a little while away, and that bomb, I think, bounced right over Memento's head. It was flying into open space in the river. So Giants plus 400 gold, plus Infernal, plus in kills. Flaxish still losing in CS to Sartorius, but he's had much bigger impact with the TP and with the Stand United.
Now look at this. This is how you invade, right? Memento He has good vision over Wisdom's jungle. Knight has the push in mid, which means it's easier for him to come in for the collapse. And while Wisdom still smites away the Raptors, the execution itself is the way in which you want to be doing these things.
All right, Peke is able to sidestep a couple of those giant skill shots. Battling over ward vision here in the tri-bush. Both of them going to get one down, but it's a control ward for Origen, so they will retain vision control of that part of the map.
So now it's okay that Wisdom is the one that's falling behind, because while on Lee Sin you really do want to be having an early game impact, he still has value in the mid to late game and what he can bring in team fights. He has a lot of decent peel, his kick can be game changing even if he is behind. You do not need items to be able to get a successful kickoff, right? As long as he lands it onto someone like Hiku to interrupt his ultimate or knock him into the warm embrace of Sartorius. He can still make those kind of plays, and the mid lane is still going fine for Nahue. And Tabs, he's still farming well. The top lane, Sartorius even has an advantage. So while the early game may be going in favor of Giants, Origen is still on path towards a good mid-game spike.
Yeah, and having the tools to do so, but being able to use them. And I think when you look at like a Jhin and an Army, it gets amplified even more, right? Low mobility on those champions, and as long as Wisdom can find a way to get Hiku or Hustling kicked into the team, there's loads of damage to follow up with the Jace, with the Ziggs. And looking at the vision from Giants, control ward, Wisdom will spot this one out. And we'll be able to clear it out. Looking at the minimap, there's no support as Giants. They're applying pressure on the bottom tower. And it looks like they'll get a lot of damage down. Hustling, Tidal Wave is available. Let's see if he throws it down. Yes, he does. Peke becomes the target. Easily donated to Hiku. Shots 2 and 3. Follow up. The 4th is dodged as Knight is going to dash away to safety. Flashes the bomb. Giants get themselves 2 kills. And maybe even the tower. There's a minion wave making its way down, but it feels like Giants should have the advantage if they stick around.
All 5 members of Giants are in the bottom lane. OG, they read the play. They responded by trying to back off. They thought that they should be able to get away from this, but then they don't respect the positioning of Knight. Now Origen, they will be able to return by getting that first tower down up in the top lane. And Nahue had already started his push mid. Knight spent a long time not only making that map movement bot, but also in the actual execution of the play. So OG will still return with 2 towers in kind. But just have a look at the minimap. You can see Knight, he's already made his way down. Memento is following up, and Origen just think that because they don't have enough vision in their own jungle, the Hustling is just being over-aggressive. They don't read the play effectively enough. I mean, you can see that Peke still has his flash, so they're not expecting the collapse at all. And while it does result in a tower in the bottom lane as well as a few kills for Giants, the map gain is actually in favor of Origen.
Okay, so a few kills to Giants, but as you mentioned, 2 towers to 1 and tower first blood keeps Origen in this particular game. Peke, this is so tense. Taking the blast cone over the wall, and now Tabs is the target. No flash available to him. The Mento's looking to get the kill. Satchel charge buys some time. Wild growth onto Wisdom slows down Knight. He goes down. Tabs will get killed by Flaxish. It's a 1-for-1 until Hustling is killed. Nahue puts the hammer down, flashes forward, kicks Hiku backwards, and it's a double kill for Nahue.
Origen with a swift response to the collapse from Giants. They get themselves 4 very quick kills. This is exactly what we were talking about, quick shot. Even though Wisdom was put behind, the laners of Origen were still doing well. They were still holding on to a pretty significant gold advantage. And look at Origen getting all those kills. It's going to do wonders for this game moving forward.
Yeah, really well played by Origen. They've got all access to Giants jungle. And that was the decisive style, the decisive play we did not see. It was countered by Giants in game number 1. And of course, Origen, even though they had the champions that could have done so, were unable to do. So, big advantage to Origen, plus 2,000 gold. This is going to give them a breath of life. Flaxish is going to be surrounded by Origen. Dragon's Rage is not available for Wisdom's Lee Sin, and a defensive tidal wave will at least split off any follow-up. Infernal Drake has spawned in the meantime, and currently, Giants have vision superiority.
But Origen, a lot of their ultimates are coming back available, and while Giants may be starting this one off, I don't know if they will be able to get themselves for free. Look, it's only 2 members in the river. Origen, they want to try and contest.
Tidal Wave not available to Hustler. He just used it. Where's the curtain call and Stand United? Knight and Hiku, they're waiting in the flanks. There is some vision. Wisdom gets spotted out. Stand United onto Knight. The barrel actually saves Knight's life, and Wisdom moves away to safety. Dragon picked up to Giants. Peke he's going to be able to get out of range of the curtain call. So some investment in late game, double Infernal, but Giants need to get there.
But look at the goal lead in favor of Origen. This was a very even game with Giants appearing to have good early control, but it was then Origen that has now quickly swung this in their favor. Now, the play from Giants was very telegraphed. They wanted to try and punish Tabs, who has no summoner spells. This time, the Sartorius TP was instant. Wisdom comes in with a fantastic kick to prevent Ari from really utilizing the mobility that she gets from her ultimate, and it is Giants that are now not in the correct position to be able to respond. Nahyun had the inside path. He had some big items completed with the Ghost Blade, and he had more than enough damage to be able to swing this fight in Origen's favor.
Yeah, unfortunately for Origen, couldn't make it work. Huston takes a gigantic shock blast to the face. Ghost Blade plus Hex Drinker completed for Nahyun. Looking at some of the other items, Spurred Visages of both of the tanky top laners. Sartorius making his way towards that Iceborne Gauntlet. With his Sheen picked up and Hikyu Ghostblade into BF Sword. So still a lot of damage to be gained on both sides. Giants are grouping up. They've only got one tower to Origen's 3. And it looks like they're trying to find a pick. This is a few times over the last 2 or 3 minutes they're hiding around a corner, waiting to set up some CC.
Well, they have to, right? Because if Origen just group up in Siege, Giants can't really stop it. There's so much poke coming out from the Jace and the Ziggs that it is super easy for Origen to just walk up to these towers, chip them down, and just repeat this process over and over and over again. So for Giants, they need to get their advantages back by setting up good vision throughout the river, waiting for Origen to try and make these map movements, and then punishing them for it. But look at this flank from Sartorius.
Okay, Sartorius coming in behind Hikyu. Flash is available. Flashes into the Raptor Pit. And that means Hikyu can get out cleanly, but no summoner spell. So that's a big target on his back. Now Wisdom will be trying to kick. Trying to find, and Wisdom and Nahyun combined have both had some very good setup plays where they've got him behind a Giants member and used the hammer or the kick to move somebody towards their teammates in that previous
It's like
skirmishes.
ping pong for Origen. They've got the Gragas Barrel, you've got the ultimate from Wisdom, Nahyun, hammer as well, and you've got the Satchel Charge from Tabs. So you could literally have a game of volleyball with this team comp right now.
Well, that's what Origen wants to do. They want to try spike the ball down and punish Giants. Curtain Call and the Mega Inferno Bomb. Hikyu goes so low.
I love that combo. I mean, he's just standing still. Why not just throw all of your high damage dealing abilities straight onto him? He's not going to try and dodge him. So now all that threat from Hikyu is completely gone. And Origen, as mentioned, they're just grouping up in mid and just sieging onto these towers.
Giants are starting to get pulled apart. Flaxish forced to flash defensively through the jungle. A charm onto Sartorius, but no damage to follow it up, and the tower gets executed. Knight is ping-ponged and bounced around between the barrels and the kicks and the dashes. He's flying at a mile a minute. Collateral damage thrown down across Origen, but nobody dies, and Origen get their 4th tower of the game. Giants scrambling to make a play. Can't find anyone to kill, and instead they just force Origen away.
Origen get what they wanted. The tower was their priority, and they were able to get away with it without losing any casualties, so they continued to extend the gold lead. The Baron is now spawning those Sartorius in the bottom lane. Look at the setup from Giants.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on that setup in a moment. 20 minutes in, Origen have got a good lead, 3,000 gold. They've got a team comp that is being utilized well, and Vedius, Giants have not won a game 2. All right, these are best of 3s and all split long. Giants are currently 0-8 in their game 2. And they're currently behind once again in game number 2.
Is this an actual curse? Are Giants truly unable to win themselves the game 2?
Yeah.
They look so clean in game 1 against Wildcat.
And then you look at that one team fight where Origen get 4 kills, you know, down in the bottom lane, and all of a sudden Origen also, they get a spring back in their step. They find a gear that they didn't have in game 1.
But this is the risk you run when playing against the Ziggs, right? Because he will continue to farm no matter how far you put him behind. He will always be able to get CS somewhere just because of the nature of the champion. And that means that he will always be in a good position to take down towers. That is what he's naturally good at. His poke will always be potent. And the problem for Giants is they needed to be able to set up a successful 1-3-1. They needed to force Origen to split apart. And because of that one bad fight, they're now not strong enough to do that. OG are the ones that can push Giants back and then look to group up and just take these turrets down.
Well, the Jace and the Ziggs combo has proven to be very valuable between these two teams, right? Jace Ziggs in game 1 for Giants. Doing very well. Similarly now for Origen. Also on the blue side. Not that that means anything. Double control ward inside that Giants bush. Again, looking to make a pick, looking to make a play, because the 1-3-1 when behind is much more difficult. And Flaxish, he's saying he's sitting so far back in that bottom lane, anticipating a skirmish, anticipating a play, that he's just waiting to use that Stand United.
So let's backtrack, quick shot. Let's think back to what we were talking about and very early on in game 1, which was Origen. Once they got an early lead, or once they got a lead, they really did struggle to close things out. We think back to their series versus Roccat, 75 minutes is how long it took.
Only game win of the split.
Yep.
75 minutes.
And now they're sitting at a 3,500 gold lead. They have a Ziggs Jace combo. They are set up for success. They are the ones that have to throw this game away. And the big question is, will they do it as Giants look for a collapse?
Okay, let's find out. Origen have got a good inside track on the inner turret in the bottom lane. Very good vision in the right-hand quadrant. And Hiku is chunked down. Looking at cooldowns, Mega Inferno Bomb is not available to Tabs because he's hit Hiku in the head with it. And that just unlocks a tower. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
This is what Origen needs to keep doing. They can now move over to the Dragon. They can set up vision control around the Baron, and they can start making this sort of play around topside. Keep Sartorius down bot, send your Jace up mid, have your dual lane push bot, and then just use Wisdom, move him with Nation into the top half of Giants' jungle, maintain vision control, and either look for a pick, or just prioritize on taking down that tier 1, or tier 2, sorry, up in the top lane. The game plan should be pretty clean for Origen. Now for Giants, you need to maintain vision control of this. As Origen move in, that's where you want to be looking to get this pick down, where you can net some control back over the game.
Yeah, and as we mentioned already, you know, Origen's Barons, 7 Barons secured between weeks 1 and 6, and they got 8 Barons in their series against Roccat. Let's see if they can grab themselves another Baron today. Can play that vision game. The top inner turret is the only one left remaining outside of Giants' base. So it feels like a natural shift in priority, and you can feel it too as well. Giants trying to defend the river, trying to defend the vision, and Peke, very, very quick wild growth flash defensively. Is that worth a Stand United? I guess if they can catch him next time without that flash.
Well, this is the sort of plays that Giants need to be making. They want to try and find a pick. They have to with this composition because they need to get Knight or Shen to a point with which Origen can't deal with it, where they're exerting so much pressure that Origen are forced to split up and they can't properly utilize this 5-man comp that they have of poking and sieging. And right now, Knight's doing a good job of keeping Nation here, but OG don't want to fall into this trap. They don't want to fall into the bait of, oh no, Knight is off on a side lane, because Origen will take towers way faster than Knight will.
Yep, and so far I'm impressed by Nation's accuracy on the shock blast. Wisdom's going to try dash away, Flaxish. So Stand United to try kill Peke, fails. Teleport to try kill Wisdom, fails. Now it does get a flash, okay? It's not a completely lost trade, but all of a sudden, Flaxish is now no international map wide advantage. Mega Inferno Bomb comes down, Memento's chunked very low, shock blast from Nehun. Picture perfect! Taunt onto Peke will buy some time, but Giants, they're a man down, and Origen, they're peeling back, maybe for Baron.
Now, if Origen get this Baron, it will mean curtain calls for Giants, because with this kind of a siege comp and with Baron empowered minions to boot, will make things so difficult, the lack of wave clear the Giants have.
It does mean curtain call. Hiku's got one to use. Knight, Spear Rush, not available. Hustlin looking to come over the wall. Giants are threatening the dive onto Origen. All 4 shots of the curtain call are used. Flaxish is going into the pit. The Aqua Prison buys some time into Nation. Baron is still alive. Baron is helping Giants. It's the 5th man. Baron's going to be the focus and secured by Wisdom. That's the buff, and Giants don't get any kills.
It was a little scrappy, but OG, they played it calm. They played it safe with no memento threatening there for a steal. OG are able to secure that objective, and they're able to secure themselves a 6,000 gold lead over Giants.
Baron buff enabled, 1 outer turret remaining. Origen just got to set their sights on the base, and when you think of Ziggs and Jace just poking away under tower. It's terrifying.
And look at how this all happened, because Giants so desperately looking for a pick, invest so many resources. Knight doesn't have his ultimate. Flaxish, his ultimate is still down. The Nami ultimate is gone. And now OG say, hey, why don't we just start a fight here? We can easily get this collapse done onto Hiku. But look at the setup onto Memento. Damage down, kick into the shot, into the knockback, into the shock blast. Literally a perfect ping-pong execution. We can call that the ping-pong play.
The ping-pong play manages to give Origen the Baron, the kill, the absolute control in this game. And again, like a Nahun on this Jace, very, very good. Sartorius, some comfort on the Gragas. You can see why it was banned in game number 1. You can see what sort of advantage Giants had being on blue side, being able to target ban that. This time around, they had to ban the LeBlanc, the Varus, the Malzahar. Also the same red side bans that Origen had from game 1.
I just can't believe that Giants are yet to win a game 2 this split. And now against Origen, a team that they looked so convincingly better than.
Heartbreakingly, the game 2 that they could have won, unfortunately had that game-breaking bug, right? So like, it's you used the word curse earlier, and maybe that is a bit of a rash thing to throw out there. It is very unfortunate, but it has been a difficult season for both teams. Neither team have looked particularly impressive at any stages, which is why they have so few wins between them. And now all of a sudden, Giants are trying to defend their last tower. Stand United is available for Flaxish. He's trying to put some distance away from Sartorius in the bottom lane. And the rest of Origen, they're just sieging the tower.
And this is all they need to do. There's not enough wave clear on the side of Giants. Origen, with their consistent poke and the Baron empowered minion, should slowly just chip this tower down until it gets to a point where Tabs can just blow it up. Easy peasy. And now I'm looking at the damage that Tabs is able to do at this point. Yeah. 3 items completed. Knight, he can't hold this for long.
It is just monumental. Knight's deciding to engage. Stand United used onto Memento. Again, a swing and a miss from that ultimate. I don't know if it was interrupted. Sartorius' ulti is on cooldown, so we may actually anticipate that. Flaxish trying to force him away. The rest of Giants, they've caught out Wisdom. Wisdom's locked in place, but the tower's gone low. If Origen can get the inhibitor for only Wisdom's life, that's probably a worthwhile trade. The tidal wave will only knock up Sartorius. Remember, he's got no mana. The flash taunt buys some time. Tabs is caught out. Redemption's come down to survive the heals. Nahun's got mana for days, and he can keep firing those shock blasts. Knight will be the target. The hammer to the skies. Nahun gets one. Can't snipe the second. The Inhib's still the targets.
Giants, they tried to chase down the escaping Origen, but it ends up getting turned around in Origen's favor. They see the inhibitor. They're going to take that inhibitor, and they should be able to walk out scot-free.
Look at the damage onto Hustler and Hiku. That more of Malmortius and Ghostblade. So
the Lunan's Echo.
Watching that kill and then watching the Origen player cams, their entire team just lit up in pure elation. I really hope our video team can actually show that, because that was just great.
Origen, with one single fight, have been able to get to this point in the game. And look, great kick coming out from Wisdom. No follow-up, unfortunately for him. Ends up costing his life, but it was a worthy sacrifice because it breaks into the base of Giants. And now, at this point, Giants are feeling pretty confident. Hey, we have 5 members. We can chase them down. Sartorius has no mana. And if we lock down Tabs, maybe we can win this fight. But look, Memento, he's forced back. Knight, he doesn't have his ulti to chase down. Giants just don't have optimal follow-up in order to be able to win out on this fight. And because they've all been forced back to base, Origen were like, well, okay, let's go take an inhibitor then.
And that's what they did. That's what should open up this base even further. 10,000 gold at 30 minutes in favor of Origen. Looks like we're going to be heading towards a deciding game, to a game number 3. It looks like Giants will be going 0-9 in game 2s on the split. And some very serious faces there from Lozak backstage watching as his Giant squad are being forced to defend further and further back. I heard from production team they will show the reaction shot at the end of the game.
Ah, perfect.
In the rollout, and they do that little summary bit.
And
so that's exciting to see.
I noticed that they only take the shots of us when we do silly things, rather than we're standing here with our
that
serious
depends
faces.
on your definition of silly.
I
right?
suppose it does.
Because I think that's just what you're like every day. Jumping up and down and full of energy, young day.
It's true. But I don't wear a clown mask every day, so.
No, we don't get the privilege of doing that every day. And luckily, this series already has proven to be a higher level than what we saw from Origen and Rocket on Thursday. Much better decision-making, much better team fights. And Origen themselves, the team that took 75 minutes to win, which you've said so goddamn many times today, looking much better, like they've learned a lot between then and now.
If we're nitpicking, Origen could have been a little bit faster on the trigger with their setup. They had a very strong early lead that they could have better utilized earlier on. But the fact that they are yet to get a game. Oh, hang on. Giants trying to respond with a fight.
Very good charm onto Wisdom. The taunt follows up. So does the tidal wave. But Giants needed everything to get that kill. 5 Giants in the top lane, while Sartorius is in the bottom. Knight and Hustlin, they almost get boomed from downtown. The inhibitor turret is down. Sartorius keeps using that big belly bop on the inhibitor. Not going to be able to take it just yet.
Even though Giants get themselves a kill, it is Origen that are continuing with the push. They have the numbers, they have the minion wave, and they just continue to make their way closer and closer to the nexus of Giants.
Baron is going to be up in 20 seconds time. Elder, a little while after that, actually. Can't remember when the last one was taken down. Regardless, Origen will look to set up some vision, play around Baron, and then use that to break open those inhibitors again.
Unfortunately for Giants, while the play was successful, this is what they wanted to do 10, 15 minutes ago, and where things really started to go wrong for them, they realized they were getting outscaled, they realized that we're not going to be able to win once we get to the late game. We have to try and make these plays happen, and that was the window that Origen took to punish Giants and to gain control over this game. And while sure, it might be working now, Giants, the damage has already been done. The deficit is just far too great that it's not going to result in any big map control gain for the side of Giants. And right now, Origen are the ones setting up vision around the Baron. You can see that Flaxis, she's just pushing out the bottom lane. He wants to make sure that he has some kind of side lane pressure, but Sartorius lands on a Knight.
And Knight's gone. They landed on him, they squashed him, and he's deaded. Flaxish has to cancel that TP. It would have been in the middle of 5 Origen members, and this should set up a safer Baron.
Now Memento is still alive. Peke will take away the blast cone, but there's always that threat of a jungler. Let's see how Origen handle this.
Okay, Peke and Sartorius trying to play interrupt. Remember, without Sartorius, he's got that knockback. That can get Memento out of range. Hikyu tagged up by the Mega Inferno Bomb. Wisdom and Nahun going very, very low from Baron. Origen, they play this one safe and mostly back out. Wisdom's not letting the Baron reset. The fight is not done yet. 2,500. Wisdom hasn't got the memo to back out. He doesn't want Baron to reset, and now it finally does. Sartorius is in the back end of the pit. Wisdom still lands a Sonic Wave onto the Baron. Slightly awkward, but Origen don't commit to the 50-50.
Well, Giants can be happy. They don't have to take the risk of Origen netting themselves the Baron. Origen, though, much better to not do the Baron than to try and have it stolen away. So I like the fact that Origen don't take that gamble. They have a lead. Why bother throwing it away? Just go back to base, sacrifice a bit of the vision, and then set up for another siege later on, or maybe set up for a better kind of Baron play.
Giants, on the other hand, contemplating a Baron move of themselves. This one a little bit more desperate, a little bit more to claw back this deficit. It's 35 minutes, it's 8,000 gold. Luckily for Giants, the inhibitors have respawned.
And look at the bottom minion wave. That is a big stack that Origen will have to go and deal with. Could Giants use this as an opportunity to try and force a play?
Mega Inferno Bomb could have been used, or Sartorius with a teleport. There's options here for Origen on how to deal with that wave. But I guess you want that Mega Inferno Bomb for a Baron Pit team fight.
Oh yeah, definitely. So much damage that you can't afford to just give away. Even the ultimate alone, the moment you see the Hikyu ultimate, just throw the ultimate, the Mega Inferno Bomb, you're almost guaranteed to either cancel the ultimate or get a flash or a heal out of Hikyu, because if that big central bomb hits you, well, I think it speaks for itself, right?
And what does it say?
It's called Mega Explosive Bomb. So you will explode. Oh, Inferno Explosive. They have one Infernal Drake. I didn't want to give him all the credit. We've had 3 this game.
The Elder Dragon is live. Mega Inferno Bomb goes down. Hustlin's able to sidestep with the help of a summon heal. Well, that's a cooldown blown. Hustlin forced away. Elder Dragon is up. Baron is up. Origen and Giants, are they forced to make decisions? Knight looking for Peke. That's a root from the Deadly Flourish, and Wisdom looking to body block any follow-up skill shots, and so close on that charm.
Sneaky play from Knight. He's looking for a possible pick. But now we see this stagnated mid-game play from Origen and Giants. This is reminding me of the Giants, or the Roccat versus Origen series where they made a play, their flow got interrupted. They were pushed back a little bit by Giants from that TP play, and now they're struggling to set up. Baron should not be their win condition. They don't need Baron to end this game. There are 2 exposed inhibitors. They just need to properly set up. Just set up a slow push down in the bottom lane, send your Gragas up top, get your multi-man unit of Nahyun and Tabs in the mid lane to push down towards the Giants' base and start sieging onto these inhibs.
And do all of that while not letting Knight or Hiku pick someone off. If Knight or Hiku can solo out Nahyun, Tabs, or even Expected to a lesser degree, a lot of the follow-up from Giants is very strong. Shen and Graves, very good as a team fight can extend and play out. But Knight on this RE 1, 2, and 5 hasn't had the greatest flank opportunities, but he's so heavily outranged by the Jace and the Ziggs, and really difficult to try find those moments. But that's what Knight's going to need to do if Giants are going to claw this back. If they're going to turn the game around back in their favor, it's up to him or Hiku to get that kill and then take a big objective like Elder or Baron.
I would not underestimate the Giants squad. I mean, Graves has a lot of late game damage. The Shen has the ability to set off into a side lane. There is a lot of potential for the Giants to find avenues back into this.
Yeah, there was just something, muddying up the vision there for a little while.
Nocturne came, he's gone now.
Yeah. Paranoia flew by. It
was a different Summoner's Rift game, right?
Invited to a different Rift. And that was just his flyby making it over there. And as we jump back onto our Summoner's Rift, look at that bouncing bomb damage onto Hiku and Hustlin. One single bouncing bomb takes a third of Hiku's HP, but that's because there's a Leandries, as well as your Omicron. Yes.
Now, this is massive. Look, Knight, he's in the top lane. Now, Giants, their only option is to either rush the Baron, because they will not be able to contest this Elder Drake. But Wisdom's still here, so this is such a great play from Origen that should guarantee them the Elder Drake.
Flaxish is coming into fight. The rest of Giants looking to contest Elder. 6,500 HP to go as it resets and starts regenerating that lost HP.
I was very impressed with the way Origen were playing that. I feel like they could have committed to it, especially with Wisdom and Tabs just zoning Giants away from getting collapsed down onto the Elder Drake. Looks like they decided not to risk it, and they're just going to take things safe for now.
I mean, the risk of being in the Baron pit versus Jace and Ziggs. Giants don't have a lot of time to get away with that. Catching a quick glimpse there of Sartorius. He's got himself that Banner of Command, has had for a little while, and the Guardian's Angel. And we'll see whether or not they can use that banner-empowered minion to push one of these side lanes. And like, Vedis, we are sort of saying the same story a little bit, but Origen this game had a 4,600 gold lead at 25 minutes. Now we're at 40 minutes, and yes, that has grown to nearly 9,000 gold. But it becomes less significant as Knight can get closer to one-shotting, as Flaxish gets tankier and more of a threat in the side lane. And as Origen are starting to dance around this Baron, because the previous Baron, remember, got thwarted, got interrupted. They didn't get it cleanly.
It's like when you play a game of League of Legends, you're building a castle of gold. And while, if you have a pretty... Ooh, hang on, Knight.
Gets a Stand United down. That's a big cooldown. Teleport is available for Flaxish, but if a fight breaks out, that shield no longer available.
Okay, so the flash is gone for Hiku, the ultimate is gone from Flaxish as well, and Origen are using this as an opportunity to go for a bit of vision around the Baron, but they're not going to commit to the objective just yet.
No, they're not. Sartorius still in the bottom lane. He's going to need to teleport in. Hiku making his way back to the team. Wisdom a little bit split off, but he can always use that safeguard to jump over to somebody. And Nahyun, you can see that value, that worth next to his name. 4 kills, 3 assists. And he's just been playing duck hunt, basically. Shooting Giants at every opportunity.
Now, to go back to my reference, because everyone's going back to base. Game of League of Legends is like building a castle of gold coins, right? When you have the lead, your castle is greater than the enemy team's castle, so it's much easier to siege the enemy castle because it's obviously weaker. But you can only build so much of a castle. If you add more coins on top of the castle, it just gets obnoxious, right? So what value is it? The longer this game goes, the enemy team, they're going to have a fully built castle, and now they can match your castle too. So that's the point at which Giants are getting at. The longer this game goes on, they're completing their castle, and they're looking to counter the Siege of Origin.
All right, castles versus castles. Two inanimate objects fighting. Apparently is where your brain goes to. For analogies, we'll see how it works out. Tabs used the Mega Inferno Bomb to try zone Hikyu away. That's one of the very big tools in an ensuing team fight. Charm onto Wisdom, damage from Memento as well. The barrel from Sartorius, that's gonna save the life. Actually, it was Wisdom's kick, I think, that did the damage. Elder Dragon's going low, flash forward!
He stole it!
Memento gets it!
Oh, Origin, that could not have gone any worse for you. Memento goes to the flash. He doesn't even use his flash. He uses his ultimate to close the gap, and he's able to steal away the Elder.
It's not the first time either. Memento has stolen Barons this split. He's stolen Elder now. And now, all of a sudden, with a double Infernal Drake, Elder Dragon at 40 minutes. Giants might have that additional damage to win some fights.
Origin, you have the composition to be able to close out this game. You just need better vision control, and I understand the play. Again, you're using your jungler to try and zone away the enemy team, but now you do not have your jungler to secure that objective. Memento steals it away with his ulti. This is the window that Giants were waiting for. They were just waiting for OG to take this gamble, take this risk, and Giants punish them for it.
They absolutely do. Not out of the fight. Giants are not giving up. Digging very, very deep to play from this deficit. And while the Elder Dragon is very useful and will help, it doesn't help against Poke. It doesn't help against Ziggs right now. And Giants ideally wanted a Baron. Ideally want to try push waves, right? So let's see if they can. Flaxish has got Teleport and Stand United and is going to meet that bottom lane. And we're starting to see that weaker macro game from Origen show through. Haslin is going to get caught out, but it's Knight that's engaging. Stand United not going to be engaged just yet. Sartorius caught out. Bubble comes up. That's a killing spree for Tabs. Knight throws out a Wild Charm. The last of his Spur Rush. Flashes to safety and gets tagged up by that Shock Blast. Now Flaxish running for his life. Origen in a 5-on-4. They're looking to chase. Wisdom going to go low. Not going to get killed just yet. Finally goes down. It's a 1-for-1, but Knight is killed on the back end. The curtain is pulled back and Flaxish still respawning from the GA. Means that Giants, yes, they lose the fight, but it isn't worse than that.
Very back and forth fight. Giants trying to force a full 5v5 team fight versus Origin's team comp, which is designed for having this incredibly tanky front line, buying time and just staying away from Knight to just get this poke down from the Ziggs, from the Jace. And you saw the impact of that Mega Inferno Bomb, just dismantling both Memento and Flaxish and making it difficult for this front line of Giants to be able to stick into the fray. And you just have to wonder why, like, Giants, like, I understand you want to try and force this fight, but this is not how you do it. Knight, he doesn't really have the mana. Tabs is just freely sitting on the back lane, Nahyun as well. Origin's tanks are just doing exactly what they need to. Meanwhile, Memento's gone down. It's just a battle of the tanks that Origin are consistently winning.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Origen, they aren't able to get more than this, despite a 1-for-2 team fight. GA from Flaxish coming back up, greatly timed Hourglass to buy time. But yeah, nobody wants to face check a curtain call.
I mean, you'd think that the team fight would go in favor of a team with an Elder Dragon and 2 Infernal Drakes, right? But the gold deficit is still there. We haven't reached that fully completed castle just yet. And Giants, they still struggle to force these fights, which is why I wonder why they even opted for it. Why not just buy more time, use the Elder Dragon to stall for that full 6-item build, where you can then look to go for a better setup.
Yeah, and you know, we mentioned the Memento Elder Dragon steal a second ago. He has actually stolen 3 Barons this split already. Giants as an organization have historically had junglers that steal Barons. Anyone that's been an astute viewer for a while, El Bandito, if you recall correctly, Memento trying to don that hat. Will Memento need to do it again? That's what we got to see. Wisdom's not going to find the Sonic Wave, and the reason I ask if Memento's going to need to steal again, the Baron is still the pivotal moment here. Origen have fully committed to only Baron or Elder.
Yep.
They've not attempted to play side lanes super well. They've not been able to break through Flaxish's ability to counter any of that pushing.
When was the last time we saw Origen near those exposed inhibitors? Bear in mind how much push they have and how much poke they have, and they have not tried to utilize it. Their sole focus has been, I think we should take Baron now. And this tunnel vision is giving windows for Giants to fight back, give them room to claw their way back into this game.
And Giants are taking those opportunities.
Oh yes, they are.
Memento had to, you know, steal an Elder, but that's the definition of taking. Removing that one from Origen. Elder Dragon will be up in about 2 and a bit minutes. Baron's still on the cards, and I love watching Shen's fight Banner of Command Empowered minions.
You love this. This is your favorite pastime.
It's not my favorite pastime, but it's entertaining. Seeing a minion survive that long.
I am the tank now.
Exactly. Let's find out how Sartorius feels about being the tank in this team fight. Zero vision in the pit. The observers are showing just how difficult it is for Giants. Curtain call backwards, Mega Inferno Bomb onto HiQ. They've traded 1 for 1, but it's support for ADC. Tabs was able to get his ultimate off though, and now the Baron helping out in favor of Origen. Knight in the back of the pit, he is killed off. Where is HiQ? Trying to make his way up with Memento. Baron's going low, Memento, Smite is available to him, but it's 4 members of Origen.
Giants are looking primed and ready to steal this objective away. Can Memento do it, or will Origen just back off?
Fade taking a look, 3,000 HP. Wisdom's not letting Baron reset aggro just yet. Shock blast onto Flaxish. A tower has died in the top lane. At last, the second that Giants have been able to pick. That means the minions are almost as good as Giants players. Now Flaxish continues to run away. Memento picking a fight to Nahun. He's down. There's no smite. There's no one left for Giants to help out here. HiQ lingering on the back end. Baron has respawned. No curtain call available. And HiQ, he's got a crit shot available to him. It's just reloaded. Not going to have the burst. Not going to try the steal.
Origen get themselves the Baron. This is the objective that they have been fighting so long for. It was a messy fight. It was scrappy. It was super back and forth. But it will be Origen that secure the big purple worm.
Second Baron of the game for Origen.
7 more to go.
7 more to go to break the record. We're 48 minutes in. There are still 2 exposed inhibitors, and now Origen have to push. They have to do what they didn't do for the last 20 minutes.
Yes.
And they've got the tools, right? Now they have Baron. They've also got Banner of Command,
Quick shot,
etc.
they had the tools 20 minutes ago.
Okay, fair point. They have more tools, right? They have a bigger sledgehammer this time around.
But this time, it is just Origen saying, let's start the Baron. This will draw Giants into a fight that we can surely win. This is a great kick from Wisdom, by the way. Knight, he did not have any ultimate stacks left. He didn't have any way to get out of the back of the pit. Ended up dropping as well. And at this point, it's just Origen stopping the Baron from resetting and playing Ring Around the Rosies as they chase down both Flaxish and Memento, just trying to prevent him from being able to smite down the Baron. And it's literally just chase after chase after chase. Wisdom's going to stay in the pit, be like, don't you reset, don't reset. And it's just constantly just trying to stop Memento being able to get into the pit. And it's the trade between Nahun and Memento that really solidifies the win for Origen. Because if Memento won, that would have been a possible Baron, or at least a stop of the Baron for Giants.
Yeah, unfortunately he did not win, and therefore Origen got the Baron. They've got themselves a mid lane inhibitor. Tabs has dealt 37,000 damage to champions this game. And he's getting very, very close to Hjarnen's damage to champions against Origen, which was 44,000 in that 75-minute game. The reason I highlight it, to deal that amount in 30 minutes less is very impressive. And Tabs, great accuracy. Peke gets chunked down. Very big critical hit from HiQ. And the inhibitors slowly being chipped away from 2 of those cannon minions. One of them has been empowered by the Banner of Command.
Origen just continue their siege. They don't need to hard commit to anything. They can just take their time.
Yep, Tidal Wave doesn't do anything. Knight was dropped low. He's going to get caught out by the Mega Inferno Bomb. The explosive cast sends Giants packing. The second inhibitor's dropped down. Origen want to force a deciding game. Origen want to take the Nexus, and they want to beat Giants right now. Once again, moving back. There's super minions in the mid lane, but there's pings from Origen. They're going top.
There is a big minion wave in favor of Origen there too. They still have the Baron available for another minute. And it looks like they're trying to take everything away from the Giants base. Origen really do want to play this tutorial style.
Yeah, that's one last inhibitor to go. Wisdom and Memento trading in the jungle, but it won't really amount to anything. It's still a 10,000 gold lead. Flaxish with the teleport in the side lane. Got to run through that Hexplosive minefield. Actually decides to turn away from it. Catches out Wisdom for a moment. Still slowly interrupted. Origen, very good response to the TP play. They're not done yet. The tower has fallen. The explosive cast comes off cooldown. That's how long this siege has been running for. Wisdom still pulling away the Giants members. This is allowing Origen to get onto the inhibitor, killing Hikyu. And Memento still not able to kill Wisdom. He's got no collateral damage. 3 inhibitors down.
That means the Origen, they should have everything in their power to close out the game right now. Instead, they're looking to go back to base. No, the teleport is coming in from Sartorius. OG want to end this now.
The finish, that's what Origen are looking for. GA and a full health, full mana. Fat tank man Gragas on the front line. He's going to be blocking as many of these skill shots as possible. There's the Taunt Flash, following through for Flaxish. Damage coming down to Nahun, he's going very, very low. Sartorius GA will get popped. Was this over eager? Was this too much? Was this too far? Nexus turret is down. The battle continues. Nahun throws to the skies. He gets Flaxish's Guardian Angel before dying himself. Traded back. Wisdom kills Memento. This is messy and sloppy. Not going to be enough for Giants to defend, though. Nexus turret, number 2 is the target. Knight about to get access to that Spirit Rush. He needs to stop the damage dealers. Gets turned into a munchkin, and that barrel body slam comes out. Wisdom still looking to kick them away. Super minions onto the Nexus, and after one hell of a dramatic siege, Origen even up the series 1-1.
Origen get there eventually. It took them a Baron, but they're able to close out the game.
Vedius, Origen have doubled their wins on the split.
Yeah.
Their second win of the spring split. It took them less Barons, it took them less time. This is growth from Thursday. I have one more thing for you. Our stats team worked overtime in Rocket and Origen.
Yep.
And they're still in the groove of things. So we've got a win record here that Origen have not broken and not interrupted. In the European LCS, when teams have a 7,000 gold lead or more at 30 minutes, they are 27-0. They are now 28-0.
Well done.
With one of those wins being Origen.
Yes. Fantastic stuff. Growth.
Useless information in a top-heavy league, right? Like, obviously, when a team is a 7K gold lead at 30 minutes, they should be winning. They should be.
They should be. But I think that a lot of criticism needs to go the way of Origen. They were well within their rights to close out that game much sooner.
It's not up to us to do that. So we're going to take a look as the ruckus at the bottom of the table is getting intense with Origen and Rocket. Take a look at it. Go for it, analyst desk.
Great casting on the day right there.
Who needs words when you can just say go for it? That's all we need to get it to us.
I saw a much better play-by-play yesterday, to be honest.
They should hire that guy. I don't know who he was. Hire him. Everything would look great. Anyway, things didn't always look great in this game. In the sense that we want to start with a pick ban. You guys very early on were like, oh, they've just taken the Giants' composition over for Origen.
Yeah, so if you can't beat it, take it in the Champs League. Probably
Pick Ziggs.
What would you tell your players if you draft this comp? Shame on you for drafting this comp, for one, because it's like a boring. That's actually a good comp.
It has a Ziggs, so it's automatically an amazing comp.
True that.
Let's be
What would
real.
you tell your players in Champs League, like as a takeaway phrases of the game?
Okay, so I don't know if I was influenced watching this game, if it just came to me, or if I knew it before, but I would say number one rule with this comp is you don't go Baron. It's terrible. Like, you're going to use your Ziggs poke and your Jace poke on the enemy team, so therefore no one's going to be hitting the Baron. You're also very squishy comp, so, you know.
Do you go Elder
if you
then?
die there. Elder, see, this is what I had to debate too. What about Elder? It doesn't do AoE damage like Baron does, but same scenario. You're going to use your poke on the enemy champions on Elder, and if you don't, then, you know, they just come kill you. So I would say with this comp, you know, let's go.
Hypothetically speaking,
yeah, hypothetically speaking,
if
you don't
there
go,
were to be
Yeah.
2 open inhibitors,
yeah,
there wasn't a Baron on the map and an Elder, what would you tell your team to do?
then I'd say, you know what? Go in one of those 3 lanes. You know, I'm going to give my team the freedom. They choose the lane they want to go to. Top, mid, bot. It's up to you.
Okay.
And then
I
I'd
can
say
see-
siege the hell out of that map.
I can see we're getting very into this hypothetical situation. Let's take a look at what actually happened. First of all, we got a replay looking at how Origen turned what was a good early game from Giants.
Snap back to reality. Here goes Knight, and he wants to go in. And I think this reaction from Origen was actually surprisingly well executed. It is a little bit of greed from Knight here and from Giants collapsing. But this is essentially what got Origen ahead and put them in a really good position to close out the game. I think while we can criticize their macro, Nahum played very well for this game.
Yeah, the close of this fight was really good, and they actually had a really fast reaction to TP. I think they beat Shin on the TP, which is weird because Giants were the ones starting that play, so their TP should be first. So Origen's reaction to that was really good. And I think, yeah, what they're lacking right now is like the game direction to close. You saw them like dance around Baron instead of sieging like we talked about earlier briefly. So I think as long as they're able to do these like counter plays and they have like a clear, way, maybe they pick a Baron comp and they can take it this time, then I think they're, looking a lot better.
Don't worry, we're coming back to the sieging discussion after our second replay, because one of the other things that slowed them down, not only where they were on the map, but Wisdom specifically, caught out a lot in this game.
Yeah, this was one of those replays. Probably you had a lot to say about the vision here.
So they see Giant Knight like jump out of the bush, so they know this, and this is like a comfortable position for them. They like want to fight this questionably because this is not what their comp does. They don't want to be fighting. They just want to keep everyone at max range. So Giants get their opening in their window because that's the only way that you can kind of break this siege comp is you get Ari on the flank and she goes in with Shinport.
But I'm a simple man, bro. I see a jungler dying on the top side, but I see my Gragas then taking bot turret and bot inhib for free. Like, is that not worth it?
Like, it seems like a good trade, right? One kill for inhib. But when you look at Jace and Ziggs, you're like, wait, they're going to take the whole map themselves eventually. You don't need to be just like throwing kills for fun. So luckily only the jungler died there. But this is kind of like your comp just wants to force them to sit in lane and you poke them. So just do that. Do what your comp does well.
Ziggs is now undefeated in the series.
Yeah, he's the key to life.
Banned in game
victory.
3?
Yeah, I would ban Ziggs first ban on purple side for sure.
So if we're looking to game 3, is it that simple? I know you're kind of exaggerating how strong Ziggs is in this
the
case.
whole premise is like if you play J6, group up and siege together.
Yeah.
If you're playing a siege comp, very often you go to Baron because you can't break open the base, because if they're defending well with wave clear, this comp, you already have the base open. Just go finish the game. Like, just try and siege down, because if you see how strong the poke was, a Ziggs bomb was putting people on half HP, a third. We saw many like almost comical Baron attempts. That's what we need to see more, and that's actually where we have to question Expect's shot calling. Like, a veteran of this stature should know that like you can literally just run mid.
Yeah, and that man on your screen, Nahian, as well. He had a good game. You already mentioned it on his Jace. Seemed like the usual things that were going wrong for Origen were a bit upside down in this one. Nahian playing very well in his second win. So we're going to clear the jungle. We'll be back in 3.5 to see if Giants or Origen can end up taking the final game of the Spring Split cross-group phase.
Wisdom's going to use that Dragon's Rage kit to buy some time. First blood easily picked up by Knight.
Look at Ziggs, keep going, let's go. I can kill Ziggs with ult, I can kill Ziggs. I can double, you're taking. I got him. Nice.
It's a 1-for-1 until Hustler is killed. Nahian puts the hammer down, flashes forward, kicks EQ backwards, and it's a double kill for Nahian.
Run! Reload, don't worry. Please recall.
Nahian's got mana for days and he can keep firing those shot blasts. Knight will be the target. The hammer to the skies. Nahian gets one. Ghost Blade.
The Lunan's Echo.
You poke?
Elder Dragon's going up fast. Oh, he stole it! Memento gets it! Wisdom still looking to kick them away. Super minions onto the Nexus, and after one hell of a dramatic siege, Origen even up the series 1-1.